It's Megyn Kelly time now, and the dust still hasn't settled on yesterday's seismic events after Donald Trump became the first former US president to be arrested in extraordinary scenes in Manhattan. Now, Trump, as you know, denied all 34 criminal charges of falsifying business records against him. And on his return to Mar-a-Lago in Florida, he doubled down on his defiant rhetoric ahead of the 2024 presidential race.
Country is going to hell. Our elections were like those of a third world country. And now this massive election interference at a scale never seen before in our country. Virtually everybody that has looked at this case, including rhinos and even hardcore Democrats, say there is no crime and that it should never have been brought.
Oh, Megyn Kelly, it is so good to have you back, let me tell you, because I want to know if you think this political prosecution of Donald Trump has just handed him a return to the White House.
He's certainly closer today than he was before the indictment. This is a gift to him. I had said moments before we found out he was indicted that he should pray to be indicted, because the people would rally behind him like we'd never seen before. Now, it's not to say it's going to be a fun experience for him. And certainly no one wants to actually have to go through the criminal process, and God forbid he gets convicted. It would be a nightmare. But people understand a persecution, really a witch hunt. It's a fair term here when they see it. And this, of all the cases that they were considering against Trump, is by far the weakest, Dan. I mean, I'll give you the back of the envelope calculation here. The DA in New York said he violated the business records rules. He wrote down X when it was really Y. And so he falsified a business record. Well, that's a misdemeanor that has a 2-year statute of limitations, which ran in 2019. So now what? Well, you can make it into a felony if you can say the reason you messed with your books is because you were covering up another crime. Aha, now we're in felony territory. We have a 5-year statute of limitations, and we just come in under the wire. Okay, what's the underlying crime? What's the underlying crime? I've got it. He violated federal election law, or maybe it was state election law, or maybe it was state tax law. The DA, Alvin Bragg, told us, I don't have to tell you. Okay, so a lot of defense lawyers disagreeing with that, but let's assume he's right. Doesn't have to tell us. It's one of those three. All three really are rooted in the federal election law violation claim, and they all fail for the same reason. You don't violate federal election law with a campaign contribution, which is what they claim this payoff, this hush money to these women was, unless it's a payment. It can't be enough that this is a payment that you offered to help yourself get elected. That's not good enough. It has to be a payment that no human being on earth would ever pay unless it was to help themselves win office. So hush money payments are made. They're made by people all the time. I'm talking about, it has to be an expense like, I hired a campaign manager. I opened a field office. No person would ever do that unless they were running for office and they wanted to advance their campaign. A hush money payment to a former alleged affair partner doesn't qualify. And the head of the Federal Election Commission under Bill Clinton explained to me today, it doesn't even matter if in Trump's mind, it was made to help his electoral chances. That's not the standard. The standard is, in all cases, is this always going to be a payment only made to advance electoral chances, or could it have dual purposes? If it has dual purposes in any case, the Trump case or any other, then it's not a campaign contribution. The whole case falls apart.
Wow. Absolutely brilliant analysis, Megyn, of that situation. OK, the other big question that I've got, and you're obviously one of America's top legal minds, but I'm hearing lots of different takes on this. Even if he is found guilty, and I know there is a long path towards that, but even if he is, does it preclude him from either continuing to run for president or even serving as president?
No. It doesn't. It doesn't. And the likelihood is this case would go to trial, if it goes to trial at all, sometime after the election of 2024. So, we'll see at that point where we are in the process. But I think both sides have suggested this case will never go to trial. And I think that's right. I mean, I think it actually has a chance of getting thrown out on the papers when they file a motion to dismiss for the reasons I just explained. But this DA is an elected official, and the judge, the trial court judge in New York State, all of them are elected. So that's also a political position. So that guy doesn't have much of an incentive to say, I'm the one who threw out the case against Trump, right? So yes, we could go forward and he could have to deal with this as the sitting president of the United States. Most legal experts I've talked to said, even if he's convicted on the charges as outlined right now, at best, he's going to get probation.
Megyn, how has this happened to Trump? And is this a sad day for America when you look at the alleged crimes committed by Hillary Clinton, by Hunter Biden? Why is it Trump who's ended up in this position?
The hatred for him is of a unique and powerful kind. And these Democrats, they fight to kill, Dan. I mean, the extraordinary lengths that they have gone to over the past couple of years to have their way have been shocking, even to we jaded, cynical reporters who have been following politics for a long time. They want to pack the Supreme Court with extra justices. They want to get rid of this longstanding thing we have in our U.S. Senate called the filibuster, which has never been gotten rid of before when it comes to legislation. They wanted to add 2 states to America just to improve their chances of doing some of that. They won't enforce the southern border at all. Trump stands against all of that. Trump stands against wokeness. Trump, with all of his rough edges, will fight them tooth and nail on everything. Trump had a Supreme Court justice nominee who is allegedly accused by some very sketchy people, but they made a big deal out of it, of gang rape. Trump didn't pull the nomination. Trump stood by him. No one else would do that. So he poses a unique threat to the left and all the things they love and stand for, and they're used to being able to bully you into submission. So that's why Trump. That's why, because in 250 years of being a country, it's not that no other president or former president has ever come close to crossing a legal line. He's certainly not the first.
Oh, Megyn Kelly, absolutely brilliant. You won't get a better analysis of the Donald debacle anywhere, and you can get much more of that, actually, on the Brilliant Megyn Kelly show, which you can find on Sirius XM, YouTube, and as a podcast. Megyn, so great to have you back. Thank you very much.
Great to see you, Dan. All right, see you soon.